Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm so excited to sit down and film with a new brand, okay? This is M.PH from Mary Phillips. Mary Phillips is a celebrity makeup artist that I have loved and admired for years, and I get so excited when celebrity makeup artists launch their own brands. For me, it just hits different. I feel like they have so much expertise, obviously, and decades of experience. And when they launch their own brands, usually they're very thoughtful, and they're some of my favorite brands that exist. So I'm really hopeful that I will enjoy this new brand from Mary Phillips. As soon as it launched at Sephora, I placed my order and I picked up a few things. So today we're going to be mostly trying out the M.PH Underpainting face palette. Now, Mary Phillips has a very signature technique, and while underpainting has been around for a long time, I feel like I have noticed Mary Phillips the most doing underpainting in such a beautiful and natural way. So I think this first product is such a wonderful way to start her brand, and it just feels very much her. So we're going to be trying that out. And I also picked up 2 shades of her new Overliner lip pencils, as well as the brush that goes with the underpainting face palette. Now, there were a few other products that they presented and like teased, but then they didn't actually launch yet. So as soon as she launches her other things, there was like a little lipstick that I was hoping to pick up, but it's not available yet. There was also some blushes that I saw that are not on Sephora's website yet. So whenever future things launch, hopefully I'll be able to try more from the brand. But I think for now, it's going to be fun to focus on the underpainting palette and the lip liners. I feel like overall the branding is so chic. I love this chocolatey brown packaging. The underpainting palette itself comes in 3 different shades for now. I did see a comment saying that she's going to expand the shade range and add an even lighter shade. So there's going to be fair, and then I think 2 other ones that kind of go in between what's currently available. So I'm excited for that because I feel like the fair palette will work best for me eventually, but I am hopeful that the light shade will still work. So let me show you guys the packaging. It actually is a really nice heavy feeling plastic with a magnetic closure. I'm loving the rounded edges on this. And then inside you'll see you have 5 different products to work through. So you first have a color corrector here. Then it's called Highlight 1, Highlight 2, Contour 1, and Contour 2. I am so excited to dip into this. You have no idea. Then I picked up the Underpainting dual-ended sculpting brush, and I'm excited to see how this works with it. Honestly, I love a good brush with a product because the right tools make all the difference. And this brush specifically looked so cool. Ooh, okay, so here's what the brush looks like. We've got the larger side right here. It has a nice dome shape and it's super soft. Then you have a more precision brush on this side for really precise shaping. I am so excited to try this out. I really did my research and tried to watch all of her little TikToks or videos on Sephora's website so that I could try to do this the best that I can. Oh, I should also point out there is a lovely little mirror on this palette, which I think is great. Ooh, it's a really high quality mirror. This is nice. This feels very luxe. The price is pretty luxe, but honestly for what you get, I feel like it's fair, you know? So I believe this retails for $64, but you get so much in here and I'm just so excited. Okay, let's try this out, shall we? If I remember correctly, she started out with the first shade in the palette, which is the corrector color right here, just to kind of cancel out any like discoloration on the face. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the smaller end of this brush and go into that corrector shade. I like have no idea how much or little to use. And I'm gonna go in right here and start to just kind of cancel out any of the blue that I have underneath my eyes. I always like to kind of press things out with my finger. I don't know if that's part of the rules or not, but it's just how I like to do things. So you can see it's already brightening a bit. I personally have quite a bit of discoloration in this area here, so I'm gonna go ahead and drag some of that up. Okay, I feel like that's good enough for now. Then she goes in with contour. So she did corrector, contour, and then goes in with highlight after. So I'm gonna try to follow that a little bit. I'm gonna go in with contour 1, which is a more cool tone shade. And you can see how contour 2 adds a little bit more warmth. I'm gonna start with contour 1 with the fluffier side of this brush. And underpainting, you guys, is essentially, I feel like Mary Phillips always says, it's kind of like the structure and the bones of the face. So the idea is you kind of set the tone with the structure underneath a sheer to medium coverage foundation, which we'll try in a bit. And then it's supposed to like naturally sculpt the face and make you look really shapeful, shaped out, sculpted, without it looking unnatural, which I love. So, okay, next, she said she likes to take the contour here. I don't know if there's like too much on this brush or what. And she said you can kind of like pull your face a bit here. So we'll sculpt it right there. Could be a little much for me. Maybe I should have used a little less. We'll see. Then she takes some along the jawline, or the cheekbone, I should say. And she said you want to go right where you can kind of see the cheekbone rounding, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to do that. I think around right here. Something I found kind of interesting from her tutorial versus other underpainting tutorials that I've watched is that she actually didn't like blend the contour as much as I have in the past, like trying to do more of an underpainting technique. She kind of left a lot of the sculpture, and then the foundation kind of blends things out afterwards. So, okay, so we're doing a bit on the forehead as well. This and this kind of more pigmented. And I do like how much you can shear this out, but also it's not so sheer to where you can't see the structure. Then she said you can, if you want to sculpt this area out, go behind the ear. So I'm just gonna go for it. And then we're gonna go along the jawline as well. This brush is great. I really like it so far. I don't actually have a brush quite this shape. Okay, then she talked about using the contour color to kind of sculpt the lips. So I'm going to do that just kind of by going around the very edges. And then we're going to go along the sides of the nose as well. Something else that I noticed she said specifically is she goes actually on top of the nose, not necessarily on the side. I feel like I always go more on the side than on the top. So I'm going to try her method. Okay. And going up into the brows a little bit as well. I feel like things look kind of funny right now, but this is one of those trust the process situations. Okay, now we're gonna go into highlight 1 on the smaller brush, and this is where I'm gonna start to brighten the under eye area and kind of go in between all the areas that we just applied the contour. So I'm gonna take this underneath the eyes, down the sides of the nose. I'm gonna kind of brighten any redness that I have here. I'm also going to take the side of this brush, which I loved how she created the side to be super thin to where you can do this. She said she always likes to make a little flower on the center of the forehead, so I'm going to make a flower on the center of my forehead. And then she says she drags the flower stem, I guess, down the center of the nose. Okay, we are looking sculpted. This is such an interesting technique, but I am really liking how easy it is to use with this brush and everything. I'm gonna go underneath the cheek. I'm mixing highlights 1 and 2 to kind of like reverse sculpt under the cheekbone. And I'm adding just a teeny bit of coverage to some of the blemishes there as well. Honestly, I feel like this shade works for me, even though I do have very fair skin. I feel like so far it's pretty good. I'm just trying to like make sure we stop in a good spot. She actually left like the flower there. She did not blend it out, at least not in the video I saw. So I'm gonna leave it bare as well. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's any other areas, maybe a slight more contour under the lip and under the chin, maybe back behind the ear a bit. Okay, I'll also take a bit of that down the neck. I don't know if this is part of the rules or not, but we're just sculpting everywhere. All right, my friends, I think we are ready to blend everything out with a sheer to medium coverage foundation. She specifically said you don't want to use something too full coverage or too matte, otherwise it's gonna completely cover up what you have going on. So for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my L'Oreal Skin Tint, the Hyaluronic Tinted Serum, because I feel like this is gonna give some coverage, but won't cover things up, hopefully. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply that with the Nikki LaRose BK Beauty N15 brush. I just feel like Mary always uses actually a pretty fluffy brush to go over everything. So this is what I'm gonna use, and let's see how things go. We're gonna start to just kind of like swirl and buff this foundation over top of everything gently, you know, so we don't cover anything up. We can always add back in any structure we want to be more enhanced. But I'm just gonna try to kind of like lightly buff and blend right over everything. And you can see how the structure still is there, but it's not a bunch of lines anymore. I'm gonna make sure to go along the jawline too. Okay, let me get a bit more foundation. And I am using the lightest hand to do this in kind of like circular motions so that I'm not completely erasing the structure. Hopefully you can see the difference that's making though. Okay, I'm not sure how the nose is supposed to go. Maybe like that. Just using those circular motions again to kind of lightly blend over everything. Okay, I feel like that looks so nice. I always like to use a sponge, so I'm gonna go over everything with a sponge and just press whatever's left down into the skin, but you really can't see any of the lines anymore, which I love, but you do have that sculpture still in place. I feel like the foundation blended on top of that beautifully, and it looks very, very skin-like. Okay, I want to show you guys, and I'm curious for myself. I'm going to show you before with no makeup on next to when we had everything sculpted out, and then the sculpted out look next to this one so that we can kind of see where things ended up after we buffed on the foundation. I'm then going to do a little bit more structure and add that definition, you know, strategically back in, and we'll compare the two as well. But I really like how this looks right now. I think it looks so nice. Okay, this is actually where I saw her dip into Contour 2 because this has a bit of warmth to it. So this is going to act as a little bit more of like a bronzer. So let's go ahead and bronze things up a little bit higher on the cheeks. I just want to warm up the face using this right on top of everything. So I'm just kind of tapping this into the cheeks, adding in a bit of bronzy warmth to the face. Let's do a bit of this on the forehead as well. I'm going to kind of add it to the eye socket too, just for a little bit of warmth there. And I'm adding just a little bit more of Contour 1 to the nose. And then I'm going to just press this all in with my sponge. I like how this formula is not too dewy. It's pretty thick, but not heavy. So it kind of holds its shape, which I really like, and you can still see the color really nicely even underneath that foundation, which I think is fabulous. All right, so we're gonna finish up the makeup look, and then we're gonna test out the lip liners as well. I'm so excited. The shade I was the most excited about, like for some reason never came available. So I bought 2 shades, which we'll try. I'll swatch the 2 of them. They launched in several colors, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use some setting powder. We're gonna go with the Mario setting powder, which you guys know I've been loving lately. Yeah, this actually looks great on the skin. That L'Oreal skin tint you guys know is like my favorite, but my complexion looks really, really nice. And I didn't use like a concealer. Obviously I used this palette, but it looks really, really nice underneath the eyes too, which I think is fabulous. Okay, just gonna set my face really quick. I'm going to fill in my brows really fast with the RAVIE Beauty Easy Everyday Brow Pencil, my holy grail, obviously. Next, I'm going to add a bit of blush. I'm just going to use Paradise from RAVIE Beauty. This has been my daily blush. I feel like it always was, but ever since we finally restocked it, I can't put it down again. It's just the best like toasted pink shade. Okay, for eyes, I don't want to like overpower anything. So let's do the Mario Sandstone liquid eyeshadow. This is the lightest shade that I own. He's got one shade that's lighter, which I might end up picking up actually eventually, but we'll just use this for eyeshadow today. Put an eye brightener on, and then let's do some mascara. I can't stop using this Dibs one. Let's use this again. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry before I dust off any mascara marks. Let's go ahead and pat off any of the lip oil on my lips and get ready to apply the lip liners, which I'm so excited about. So these are the Overliner lip pencils. And again, I grabbed 2 shades. I got Cowgirl and Skinny Dip. So let's open these up. I think these are a classic wood pencil. Look how nice. I really, really love, yeah, you can see it's a wooden pencil. I'm so excited to see these shades. So Cowgirl is like this really pretty sculpty brown. And then we have Skinny Dip. I'll swatch next to Cowgirl. It's a little bit more pinky, but both have quite a sculpted look to them. I'm gonna go in with the darker color first. I'm gonna go in with Cowgirl, and let's kind of overline the lips. This is actually quite waxy formula, which usually means it has a bit better longevity. So I'm overlining just the Cupid's bow and then dragging it back into my natural lip line. Okay, that's a pretty color. Let's go ahead and kind of like fill in the lips a little bit with Skinny Dip. Well, I guess I'm kind of going right over top. I'm kind of meshing those together. Pretty. I'm gonna take a little bit what's left on my powder brush and just kind of set the edges so that it has a bit more longevity. And then again, I really was hoping to try out her lipstickies, which are like slim lipsticks, which you guys know, I love a good slim lipstick. Hers look actually more slim than Effortless Lips, which is interesting. But since I don't have those, I figured maybe I'll just use Effortless Lips. Let's see. Should we do Daisy today? Maybe kind of make more of a contoured lip look. Yeah, I'm gonna take Effortless Lips in the shade Daisy, which is the lightest shade in the line. And let's kind of brighten up the center using this. Okay, so there's that. Okay, I feel like we look sculpted. Things look nice. Before I forget, I'm gonna try to wipe away the mascara marks on my eyelid. I feel like I want like a little brightness on my cheeks. I have this blush just sitting here, the YSL one. This is the shade 42. It's quite a bright bubblegum pink, but I'm just craving like a little something here. This has a bit of shimmer to it too. Okay, other than that, I feel like everything else looks nice. Let's finish off the look with a bit of setting spray. I've been really loving the Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting spray, and I've been loving the One Size one and the Fenty one, but the Easy Bake one, I feel like it has a nice smoothing effect. So I'm just gonna spritz this all over and kind of press that into the skin. I love how my complexion looks. Obviously the L'Oreal Skin Tint is one of my holy grail products, but most of what's on my face is that Mary Phillips palette. And I feel like it just looks really natural. It looks really nice. Let's set the brows to finish. And voila, here is the finished look. I'll show you guys a little before and after so you can see the steps and where we ended up and how it compares to where we started out. I really honestly love how my complexion looks. I don't feel like those products look heavy on the skin whatsoever, not even underneath the eyes, and I layered it up quite a bit, but I really loved the shape and structure that it gave the skin. I feel like for my first go at this, it turned out pretty nice. I feel like hopefully I'll just get better and better with the Underpainting palette as I use it like more frequently. For me, I feel like this is so fun. For someone who's obsessed with makeup the way that I am, I love having something that's so compact and where everything is just lined up for you, and she kind of took the guesswork out of it for us, which I think is really nice. This might not be for someone who likes a super chill everyday kind of a look. It could feel like too many steps to some people. Again, for me personally, I love all those tips and tricks and those extra steps, even on like an everyday basis. If it makes things look more sculpted and if I feel like it makes a difference, it's worth the effort to me. Again, I really loved the formula of this, and I love how my complexion looks. So I'm very excited about this palette specifically, and I do feel like if you end up getting the palette, the brush is worth it as well. I think the two of these pair obviously beautifully together, and I feel like the reason why it felt so easy was because I had the brush. Obviously you wouldn't need it necessarily, but it does take another bit of guesswork out of things, which I personally really like, especially with it being a little bit of a newer technique to me personally. So I'm most excited about this palette, and I think it's an amazing thing for her to launch with. The lip liners I thought were really pretty as well. I'll keep you guys posted on like how these wear, and if there's a certain color that really sticks into my routine, I'll let you know. I really like this color, Skinny Dip. I feel like it has a little bit of more of a neutral undertone, which I love neutral or more cool toned lip liners, which is why there's one that I was really excited to pick up that's not available yet. So I can't wait till that becomes available. And I can't wait to try her cream blushes whenever those launch, and also the lipsticks too. But I think the star of the show is definitely the Underpainting palette. And I feel like this is a great place to start if you want to try out the brand, and if you're into learning something new and you want something just to add something different to your collection. This is something that I feel like hasn't existed in this form before, and I love it. I'm thinking about like travel too, how nice it would be for travel instead of trying to worry about packing correctors, concealers, and a cream contour stick and a bronzer stick like I usually do, I could literally just throw one little palette into my bag and be good to go. So for me personally, I'm excited about this brand. Congratulations to Mary Phillips. I really, really love her work, and I think it's so fun that she started a brand, and I can't wait to see what else she does. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this brand. I know this type of a brand might not be for everyone. I do feel like if you're a little bit more of a nerd when it comes to makeup and you love those extra steps, I feel like you would really, really enjoy something like this. But also on the flip side, if you're a beginner, I think this is still very beginner friendly. It just kind of depends on how much time you want to spend on your makeup or learning a new skill. So yeah, that's it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing me test out M.PH. Really, really happy with the sculpted complexion today. Thanks to this little palette, I feel like I'm gonna be using it every day. It makes me excited. So if you want to check out her brand, I will have her website, and then also it's available at Sephora. So I'll have everything linked down below for you guys. Let me know if there's any other new brands that are coming that you want to see me test out. I think it's so fun to try out new brands, especially from celebrity makeup artists. So yeah, that's it for me today. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and also click on the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I post a video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you. Bye.